Hey there, Queen. Have you ever said to yourself, I just need more money? Or have you ever felt like if I just had more money, I could do so much more? Well, if so, today's life lesson session is for you because I'm picking up with part two of the finance session that I started off with. And I know you may be saying you're not a financial coach, and I'm not shifting to be a financial coach. And still, I want you to know that how you manage your money impacts your life. So let's get right into it. When it comes to managing your money, did you know that it is possible that you may be in a testing season? What do I mean by that? I mean that God may be testing you to see how you manage what you already have in your hands. You see, oftentimes we want more and we want to handle more, but the reality is if we aren't able to manage 100 well, what are we going to do with 1,000? If we're wasteful with 1,000, what are we going to do with 10,000? You see, I'm not certain if you are aware of this finance specialist. Her name is Lynn Richardson. She shared her story, and I can't tell her story like she can, but I will share with you that a piece of her story. She talked about how she even got an increase in pay, meaning she started making more money. And although she started making more money, she also started spending more. So, what am I telling you by sharing that? That it's possible that even if you got more, even if you had more, you really would not feel the impact and the effect of having more because of your spending habits and your spending patterns. So today, let's get practical. And here's what I want you to ask yourself. Do I have a budget? And if so, do I use it? And if I do I use it consistently in a way that I am sticking to what I said my budget is? Monthly, quarterly, yearly, or maybe even weekly. Do you have a weekly budget? Because I know some people get paid weekly, not just monthly or every 2 weeks. Whatever budget you set forth, do you stick to it? Or like I said, evaluate if you even have a budget. Because if you don't have a budget, you're not telling your money where to go. And so it is quite easy for your money to end up in the wind and you not know where it went because you didn't tell it where to go. Do you regularly excessively spend? Now, I know that there are sometimes there may be a special occasion, something may come up, and you may need to purchase something that you did not necessarily budget for, or you may want to go out and celebrate something, whether that be a birthday, an anniversary, a friend may have come through, your mother may be having something, whatever. I get it. Life happens. But life isn't lifing every single day, causing you to unnecessarily spend on things you don't need, but instead get things that you want. So I'm asking you to self-assess. Do you find yourself spending excessively on things you want? If you do this, please understand that doing this is keeping you in a state of lack of having the things you need. And some of that excessive spending that you're doing could be money that you use to invest and build your future and financial wealth. So look at your expenses. What subscriptions do you have? What places do you go? What type of things do you do for self-care? Is it excessive? Now, I'm all for self-care, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I do recognize that there are some times we may need to sacrifice. Meaning, instead of going get our nails and our toes professionally done, maybe we're in a season where we need to cut that cost and do it ourselves. Maybe instead of going get your hair professionally done every week or every other week or maybe even every month, maybe it's time for you to, so to speak, go to YouTube University and figure out how to do some in-between styles so you're not going to the shop or the salon so often to get your hair and nails done. It really depends on where you are and what your financial goals are. Do you have financial goals? Think about that. I don't know. If you do have financial goals, are you tracking them? Because if you're not tracking them, how do you know when you have hit them? How do you know when you may need to shift or tweak them? Again, practically, what do your financial goals look like? And is there someone who needs to come alongside you and equip you to get there, to show you the way? Now, because I'm not a finance expert, that's not my lane of expertise. I don't do that. But I do know that there are financial experts who have the financial wisdom to show you and equip you on how to diversify and build financial wealth. The question is, are you seeking their advice, their wisdom? There's no shame in that. I mean, one of the people that I listen to as a sound voice when it comes to finances is Anthony O'Neill. Now, is he a best fit for everyone? Absolutely not. But again, you have to choose who's a best fit for you and for where you are and for where you want to go. But to do that, there has to be some clarity on your part on what you truly desire to have in your life. And lastly, do you pay what you owe? And if you do you pay it on time? Here's the thing. I don't know if you've ever had somebody borrow money from you, but when they borrowed that money, I'm going to use myself because it has happened to me. When people have borrowed money from me, I expect it to be paid on time. Now, unlike the bank, I was not charging interest, but still, I wanted my coins back. Now, if you understand that, then the question becomes, when it's your turn to do the paying, do you pay what you owe? Or are you so hard to find that people regret loaning you money? People regret providing you a service. I don't know. I'm asking you because, like I said, the little that you have in your hand to manage may be a test from the king. And the king may be looking at you and saying, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to paying, you don't like to pay what you owe. So if I give you more, I mean, you might get more, but then you'll just owe more and more money that you don't want to pay. So again, think through that, because nobody wants to give someone something and they've already shown that they are unwilling to keep their commitment. You know, when you use a service and they bill you after the fact, there's a commitment there. You might not have said it with your mouth, but they are expecting payment for the service they provided. The same thing goes with your day-to-day bills that you have in your life that reoccur from week to week or maybe even month to month. think about the type of person you are. When people see your name at their company, are they saying, oh my God, because you hard to find, you don't pay your debts? Or are they delighted and said, or are they delighted? There's a difference. If you've ever loaned money, again, you know the person who gladly and willingly paid you back and did so on time or maybe even early, you were more willing to loan to that person than that person who you couldn't find them and you had to keep calling them to get your money back. The same thing goes for the people that we do business with, even though we may never see their faces because they work at companies that may not even be in our state, headquartered in our state. So please understand and recognize that God gives us money to manage. And each and every day we get to show him what we will do with what he gave us to manage. We have to be accountable for how we spend and use our money. The question becomes, day to day, can God see that you are being faithful with the little that he allows you to have in your hand? And I'm saying a little, but a little is relative, because somebody may see having $2,000 to manage as a little. Somebody may see that as more than enough, because we live in a very different world now. When I say now, I mean current day, with the different exchanges that they have in money. To somebody overseas in a different country that's not in the United States, $2,000 can seem like they hit the lottery. But again, whatever you have to manage, how are you managing it? Are you managing it well? Meaning that you are looking at what you have and in some instances using it to multiply what you have? Or are you not managing it so well and you regularly find yourself wondering where your money went, and on a prayer and a wing, hoping the things that you need are able to be supplied, or maybe even having to borrow to have your necessities met? There's a difference between the two. So my call to action for you, or my challenge for you today, is for you to choose one financial discipline that you know you need to improve, whatever that may be. If it's budgeting, if it's tracking your spending on needs versus wants, if it's tithing consistently, whatever the financial area is that you know you need to improve, I want you to do that and make a commitment to yourself to do it for at least 30 days and see how it changes and improves your life. Because small steps can have a significant impact. Although it's not immediate, the impact can happen over time. There's something called the compound effect. And I won't get into depth with that, but your actions, small actions, can compound over time. And if they're positive actions, they can compound in a positive direction. And I want to leave you with this thought. If we don't know how to increase what we already have, we can easily think the solution is to have more money. But the question is, first, how can you manage what's already in your hands well? Because it's possible to not have a lot and still increase what you have. As always, I'm Coach Sam, telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.